We're actually going to start with characters. And when it comes to characters, there's no new ideas under the sun. I don't 100% believe that, but for the most part, it's true. How many times have we seen superheroes? Oh, this one shoots fire. Oh, this one turns invisible. Oh, this one's called Phenomenon, and he's the 4 million Superman variant. Yet he's still one of the best characters in the game. At this point, what it comes down to is your take on it. What can you add to these characters that hasn't been said before? In the case of Phenomenon, it's the comeback story of the strongest character in the world who's depressed as he goes through a breakup. Great. Hilarious. Another strength of Dispatch is how much life and personality the actors and writers give to these characters. The performances in this game are really good. Even though they're narratively supposed to be the worst group of people around, none of them really come off as annoying or overly cartoonish. They all have pretty grounded and realistic personalities, taking into consideration that some of them are man-bat hybrids and demons. My favorite characters in the game, in order, Waterboy, Chase, and Phenomenon. The screen time on Z-Team isn't evenly distributed, with Invisigal and Flambe getting the most attention from the story, but I think that's fine. It's hard to give 8 characters a complete story arc in a short game like this. Aaron Paul and Matt Mercer as the protagonist and antagonist combo in this game are very strong. Both give outstanding performances. Aaron Paul plays the hero burnout type really well, and I don't know how much is his performance and how much is the writing. Most likely it's both, but Robert Robertson is someone you always root for here. Even though he's lost everything he sacrificed his life for, he's not miserable and gives his best effort to mentor the Z-Team. Matt Mercer as Shroud is great as well. His presence is always menacing, and the way his character is utilized always makes him seem cool. Most notably the bar scene and when he ambushes Invisigal at the docks. My only complaint with him is the ending of his character, which I'll touch more on in the story segment. But for characters overall, we're going 9.1. Next, we're doing story, and the story of Dispatch is similar to the characters, in the sense that superheroes have been done a billion times. What are we saying about it here that hasn't been said before? Ex-hero who can no longer fight, forced to mentor a bunch of ex-villains until they can fix his suit and he can return to the field. It's great. Interesting spin on the genre. I have no real complaints on the story. Mecha Man's origin is great. His past encounters with Flambe and his relationship with Invisigal add tension and depth to the team. No character behaves unrealistically in my opinion until maybe the end. Giving Shroud a mech was not my favorite choice. For a guy who's named Shroud, and for most of the game worked behind the scenes through stealthy and highly calculated moves, tossing him in a giant robot spider at the end and having a mech battle seems a little strange to me. I would have preferred if maybe he infiltrated SDN and took out the heroes one by one with some type of countermeasure that he created specifically tailored for each hero, rather than just having a giant flashy battle for spectacle. Also, why was he unable to calculate that Invisigal was going to betray him, or that Robert would give him both astral pulses? The dude literally predicts the words coming out of Robert's mouth at one point, but never realizes that the woman that loves him would maybe try and help him, or that the National Hero Organization might be trying to make another astral pulse. Not a major complaint here, just a thought that I had. Now moving on to my favorite story moments. First, I'd say the ending of Waterboy's first day. The scene where Robert sees Waterboy sitting in the closet is great. Simple concept, amazing execution, and highlights Robert's strength as a mentor and his compassion for others. Same concept if you choose Phenomenon, only he's watching his old highlights. My other favorite moment was Chase rescuing Invisigal. The keep up line hits so hard here, and like Robert, the scene highlights his compassion by saving someone he's always hated. The follow-up flashback scene with him as Robert's babysitter was also great. A few scenes that made me genuinely laugh out loud. The Royd P scene that I put in earlier. The Waterboy vending machine scene where he hands Robert a $5 bill and they have to microwave it. That entire scene actually, because when he shattered the vending machine, that was great too. Robert spitting in his own face when Shroud captured him, and Invisigal telling Chase he looks like a French soccer player was also great. Really strong story, and it makes sense as so many of the writers and directors came from other narrative-driven games like the Telltale series. Great stuff here. Overall, we're going 8.9. The gameplay in this game is fun. Every time my boy Robert sat down at the ancient computing device, I was excited. It's a very strong concept with the hero's stats creating a diagram and success percentage based on the mission's needs. The only thing I'll say is I wish there was more of it, and I'd like to see it expanded. I really feel that there's a lot of potential with the gameplay system, and having the trading mechanism for the heroes is great too. Just expand it. More perks, more upgrades, maybe give us a cutscene or two for the important missions like fighting the Red Ring that alter based on who you send or whether it was a failure or success. Give the characters more variability in how they can be upgraded. Maybe give each character a larger skill tree. It would really add to the replayability if you could mess with different builds for characters. Maybe give the option to replay a shift, or that could be an additional item or perk. There's a lot you can do, but a strong start for sure. And overall, we're giving gameplay an 8.6. The world is probably the least developed portion of the game. It's very focused on one branch of SDN, which I think is fine because the characters are all great. With a Dispatch 2, I'd like to see us get a look at the other branches and what their relationship would be to the startup branch like Z-Team. Maybe the main branch, like the one Phenomenon worked at, looks down on Z-Team and thinks the attention they're getting from beating Shroud is undeserved. Maybe that could lead to rivalries and infighting that a main villain could capitalize on. A lot of different ways you could go with the world. What does it look like from the perspective of a civilian? What's the experience like when you call Z-Team versus the main branch? A lot of interesting ways you could take it. In this game, the scope of the world is small. We know there's heroes and villains. In the intro scene, we see aliens, and we know Phenomenon's from another planet, but it doesn't get explored a ton. Still not bad. We're going 7.2. For the miscellaneous, because I've already touched on what makes this game great with the story and the characters, I'm going to talk a little bit about the format. I'm a big fan of the Telltale games, and The Wolf Among Us is one of my favorite games ever. Also, side note, do any Wolf Among Us fans still exist? And please, can we get a Wolf Among Us 2? The developments have been rumored longer than GTA 6. But anyway, yeah, I like the format. It's like combining a really good show and game into one. The main thing with these games is the player's ability to alter the story through their choices. I played this game twice with the goal of picking the opposite of everything I picked the first time, and these are some of the differences I noticed. 1, pouring alcohol on Flambe makes him burn his eyebrows versus throwing water makes him chip his tooth. 2, choosing Sonar versus Coop determines your team, and then based on who you release, Malevola or Punch-Up Man will be mad, and it also changes who you fight in the final scene. 3, telling Phenomenon you kiss Blazer will lead to him kissing Robert. 4, the janitor closet scene where Waterboy's sitting in a bucket versus Phenomenon watching his old highlights. 5, if you choose not to fist bump Royd in the initial bathroom scene, he won't fist bump you after the Astral Pulse prototype explodes. 6, I'm not actually sure what causes Invisigal to become a villain, whether it's choosing Blazer over her, cutting her from the team, or what you end up handing Shroud, but that's one of the bigger decisions. But overall, the story doesn't change a ton, which doesn't give the game a ton of replayability. It's been a long time since I played a Telltale game, which is the only real point of comparison for a game like this, so it's hard for me to judge the differences in the impact of decisions. It would be cool if a game with this type of format had drastically different paths based on decisions, but that's not something that's really apparent in this game. But still, I do like the format, so overall, we're going with an 8.1. So like I said, for the final score, I am doing a weighted scale where gameplay is weighted over the other categories. That's just my personal rating system. I think I'm going to use that from now on because I play games that have very strong gameplay and nothing else that I really cared about. I'm not really usually too big into story or characters because I feel like they're just not done that well in games that often. So gameplay is really what I'm looking for. And in this game, it was good. So the final score was an 8.36. Very good game, has even more potential. A Dispatch 2 with some improvements in gameplay and world would be even better. But yeah, that's about it.